Welcome back to another episode of Craft and Compile. I'm your host, Tyler, and today we are diving back into our initiative tracker for Pathfinder and D&D and games like that. So basically I was streaming this last time and had no idea that my microphone was out the whole stream, so I just recorded mute the entire stream talking to people, or at least thinking I was talking to people, but at least I got the recording of that sound. It just wasn't live. This time, I'm actually live. So, we are diving back into our initiative tracker, and so for those of you who don't know, Pathfinder, and I think D&D 5th edition as well. I know older editions of D&D, this is how it works, but I'll just go ahead and show you guys Pathfinder Initiative. So this is how this system works in a lot of like D20. Base reveal number 2, that's right. I'll probably be making a habit of using my webcam from now on, honestly. I have OBS set up in portable mode, so I am recording a separate recording of this without the webcam and stream overlay and stuff like that, because I do hope to cut this down into like an actual, you know, YouTube-sized video. So, yeah, I kind of like long form on YouTube, so that was my original plan, actually, was to just do YouTube, and then after I made a couple of YouTube videos, I was like, you know, I can probably just stream the process and maybe get a little extra exposure, you know? That's kind of what I was thinking anyways. And so the hope is that just by streaming I'll get some followers, but really the goal, the long-term goal, I hope, is YouTube. But if Twitch, you know, if streaming ends up being where it is, then that's where it is. But either way, if you're familiar with 5th edition, that's pretty cool. I've never actually played 5th edition. 5th edition. I play Pathfinder with my friends on Sundays. So that is where I'm coming from with this system. But basically, for those of you who don't know, initiative is a roll that you make with a 20-sided dice. And when you make the 20-sided dice roll, you add a modifier to that. In Pathfinder's case, it's your dexterity modifier. I believe that's the same for 5th edition as well. And so it's just like an ability check in 5th edition and in Pathfinder. And so you roll your 20-sided dice, add your initiative, and whoever has the highest results out of that from you and the monsters, right, they go first, and then you kind of go down that order from there, right? So it's coming through my head. That was just it. These headphones do a good job of making the sound far away. I had to double check that they weren't coming out of my speakers. 6 groups? Oh, geez, dude. I'm the GM for just one group, and rolling one game a Sunday is pretty difficult, right? Yeah, I love GMing too. I actually like GMing more than I like playing, honestly. Makes sense. Homebrew's always cool. I'm actually running Shattered Star right now, a written adventure path by Paizo for Pathfinder RPG. We kind of like the pre-written stuff by Paizo, at least most of it. That said, this adventure path is a lot more difficult than we expected it to be. We have a larger party. There's 6 players rather than 4, and they're still kind of struggling here and there, honestly. And I have increased some of the battles early on, but I haven't really changed anything for quite a while, and they still struggle sometimes. But either way, to go back to initiative, yeah, it's a dice roll that you make, and then you have to order that list, right? So everybody gives you your initiative, and then you add the monster's initiative, and then you have to manually sort that or use like an XML sheet or something. So then it just takes a lot of extra work. And so my tool simplifies this process a lot. And because I'm actually talking this time, I can just show the program. And so I want to show the old program here. Dox myself a little bit, but that's all right because I'm your host, Tyler. Everybody already knows my first name. All right, so it's in my personal projects here. I get my Battle Tracker. That's the wrong one. It's this. So if I show, this is my original program. This is actually up on GitHub. There is a link to my GitHub now on my Twitch if anybody is interested in looking at that. But basically, this is the old program. I wrote this while I was still in college. I just had taken a C# class, and I was like, this is a great use of my coding knowledge. Combine my hobbies and my profession, right? So I went and programmed this little list. So you can see I can drag and drop. It doesn't look very nice, and it's not very intuitive because if I try to drag this above the barbarian, it's actually going to go above the cultist because of a bug. And yeah, so this is all on GitHub, but basically you can add entries like so. You can give them initiatives and modifiers because it does sort by the modifier if people have the same initiative, right? You can also duplicate things. So I can duplicate cultist here, and it makes cultist 5 into cultist 6. There's a bug though. If we duplicate a cultist, any name that has 2 spaces, it just breaks that system. So yeah, kind of disappointing there, but that's all right. That's why we're making Battle Tracker 2.0, to fix all of these wrongs. But you can see if I sort the list, I can then go through the turns. It'll tell me whose turn it is. If I go all the way down, it'll tell me what round it is as well. And you can see that's a lot faster than having to manually sort the initiatives, right? But it's also a little bit limited in that you can't, say, just subtract 6 health from the daemon there. In fact, now I've just exposed another bug where if I try to select the text here and delete it, it just deletes the whole entry and then breaks the program. I guess it didn't break the program that time, but usually it'll break the program so you can't even edit things anymore. There is a second part to this program as well that generates weather and tracks the date and time. Not so much the time, but the date, I guess, and the weather. It's also a bit limited. It only generates it based on one biome, so like kind of a temperate biome. I made this when I was running Kingmaker, actually. So I tried to simulate the weather in the Riverlands while still following all of the weather generation rules for the most part. There was a little bit of fudging to make the seasons not abrupt, because the way that the weather system works in the rules, it's like the moment spring starts, you just add 10 or 20 to the temperature or something that you roll, and that doesn't make any sense. So basically we lerp between those different temperatures over time. But it's a pretty cool little system. You can see we can advance the day to the next day and generate weather. In the winter time too, it does accumulate snow and melt that snow between the days, which is pretty cool. So if we generate a month worth of weather in December, we should see that we start getting some snow accumulation. Exactly. So we saw 17 inches of snow accumulation. You can see 14 the previous day, 14. So it's really cold, so it's just not melting at all. So basically the snow will accumulate. Will generate just another month of weather. You can see it does follow through even if you generate more. So yeah, we go through and you can see the snow started melting by the time we got down here, and that's because most likely we had a few days where it got warm and there was no overcast. Yeah, so it did get quite a bit warmer in these days. There was heavy overcast, I guess, but it was enough to melt off the snow. It's not really... Howdy, Raged Gordon. Thanks for joining the stream. Oh, crap. No, I forgot. Totally spaced that, honestly. Then I would see your chat on my screen. That would be a useful thing, so I'll be doing that next time for sure. Yeah, I'm not going to be recreating this portion of the software yet. This portion of the software is kind of like a stretch goal. I could check it out really quick, honestly. I do want... Yeah. I could check it out. That's true. It's just you two in chat right now anyways. Just quickly go into this camera or this scene. Yeah, so I'll just hop into Discord. What's that link? Is install this real quick. Move that chat over to the side. Should send a message real quick so I can double check it's working. Test works. That's a bit easier than looking down at my phone for sure. I'll still have to watch my phone, I think. Well, does this chat overlay show? I mean, it's going to show up in stream too, unfortunately, but that's alright. Is there a way that I can just stop that? Yeah. Discord has a feature for that. I was pretty impressed that they had a feature for that. Yeah, it's just easier to share the display when I'm doing a stream like this, because I go both back and forth between Unity and Visual Studio. I could just do that, hide the stream elements, but then the stream element, let's do that right here. Control Shift F. Oh, hides the border. I don't see any. Here, let's do auto hide borders, but don't. That too. Want it somewhere over there. This for now. Alright. Now if I look here, I can just position this where that was. Yeah. 10 seconds. Doesn't seem to be making sound for me, but that's alright. Yeah, I have chat sound set to none. Yeah, I don't know. Don't see. Why is the chat here? Didn't save it, that's why. That now it's gone. I don't see any reason to keep it that long. I don't know. Makes it feel more alive, I guess, when people join, if it takes longer to fade out. Chat over. Honestly, I'd probably just gonna have to not do this because I'm gonna be programming for this stream. I didn't even think of that. I'm gonna have so many words on my screen and I don't want this chat covering up my code. If I move it over here, it covers up the inspector in Unity and the solution explorer. If I move it over here, then it's covering up my code. Probably not the stream to try this out, but that's alright. If I had a second monitor, then I wouldn't need this, but yeah, for gaming, I'd definitely be using this, I think. It's easier to see your chat and stuff without looking down at my phone constantly. or even if I had a second monitor looking over to my second monitor. But for this, we're just going to add our chat back. I don't remember exactly how high up it needed to be. I'm just going to wing it somewhere like that, right? That's the wrong one. Oh no, that's too high up. It's a position. Yep. That's good enough. Oh. Should I move my webcam over so you guys can see the code a little better? I didn't think of that. That might help. Move me over to the bottom right. That makes sense. I'm gonna do that really quick, so I'll grab. Flip it. I should flip it too. Yeah, I can see why. That way I look like I'm looking at the code instead of looking towards or looking off the screen. There we go. Now everything's backwards, but that's alright. I need to move this too. There we go. Bam. Now we're in... I should just set up a separate scene for all of this, but now we are in game dev streaming system mode. Now you can see the code over here. Excellent. And you can see the Solution Explorer, kind of. So, where was I? I was explaining the weather system. I was pretty much done explaining this, though. It does, like I was saying, more or less go based on the Pathfinder rules for how weather is supposed to work for a temperate region, that is, with not really any change in elevation, like a temperate forest or plainsy kind of area. So that's what this weather generates. In the future, the 2.0 version of this, I want a lot more customizable. I want you to be able to input like what kind of biome, what kind of elevation, stuff like that, and it will generate, hopefully anyways, realistic weather for that kind of region. Yeah, but that's not what we are going to be working on today. What we're going to be working on is the fact that you can save and load these battles with the old system, right? We can't currently do that. And we also, you know, of course, want to make other improvements, but we've already pretty much made those other improvements. If we look here, this is the new app, Battle Tracker 2.0. There's a bug right here where sometimes they get stuck showing that they're still highlighted for some reason. But you can see we can actually give them initiatives as well. I agree, it doesn't need to be perfect now yet. The intention is basically to make this in a workable system where I can use this on Sundays in replacement for the Battle Tracker that I'm already using, because this already does have a lot of nice features that the original doesn't. Need water. Alright, so you can see we input some initiatives here. We'll just give them some modifiers. I'll give this guy, and see we've already got this feature working, because if we say cultist with spaces 1 and duplicate him, now it's cultist with spaces 2 as the duplicate. If we say give this one an initiative modifier of 4, then we can just show that this is all working properly. But more than this, this system supports doing like that 46 minus 6 health, right? Not only that, but it also supports rolling dice. So say cultist has 3d8 plus 7 hit points, we can just say that right there and it will roll the dice for us. Boom. We've got 25 out of 25 hit points now. Already done. And then boom, player hits them for 7 points. Now they're at 18. And it's like, yeah, that math was easy. 25 minus 7 was definitely 18, but sometimes when you're sitting there in the game GMing, you know, you don't want to have to do all these little calculations in your head. Now you can just do them right here in the program. We've also got a little better note tracking. Instead of just a little box in the side of each of those rows, now we can add and delete individual notes and even give them round counts, which I've realized now that I've forgotten to actually subtract from the round count if they have a round count when the round changes, which is in edit box as well, which is apparent when you hover over it. But yeah, looks pretty cool. I think it looks a lot better than the original, and when you grab and drag things, it actually drags where it's supposed to, for one, but it also shows you a lot clearer where it's going, which I think personally is really nice. Thanks, Gordon. I also think it is very nice. But yeah, so you can see if we sort our list now and say it's all these different turns and the round counter counts up. I do need to actually make these show when they are active and when they are coming up next. Probably just the active one, honestly, but yeah, let's do that really quick because that seems like some low-hanging fruit. Probably only going to stream for a couple of hours today as well. I do want to try to get more than 6 hours of sleep tonight. Sleep. Yeah, it's not something I'm great at, honestly. I could do something like that. I was probably just going to make the active one green. Especially since the... Well, in the future, I do also hope on having this be a lot customizable. So I do plan on putting not the code for the Unity portion, but the source code for the back end for how all of this works on GitHub, so that anybody can make their own front end of a battle tracker, basically using my library. So that's the overall plan for how this is going to work. I'm making my own app on top of the library that I'm making, basically. And I plan on releasing my app eventually on like the App Store and stuff like that. For free, of course. But the back end for it will be in C# for anybody to pick apart and recreate or remake any way they want, really. But so that's one way it could eventually be customizable in the future. Another way is I just do plan on eventually supporting like custom themes or something like that for this system, but that's definitely not a MVP feature right there. I do kind of like the coloring, all of them, but I feel like that might just be a little bit too much color. I am trying to keep the palette fairly neutral, and uncolored is still a pretty good indicator that it's not their turn. Either way, where we need to go into our initiative note entry row here. This is our actual view class for the initiative entry, which is, if I go here, that's our initiative note entry. That was the wrong one. We need to go into initiative entry here. So if we go into initiative entry data, you can see this is pretty well documented for the most part. I mean, I definitely still have some documentation that I need to do, but in fact most of this still needs to be documented. But it's got a little rough template, and you can see I'm definitely planning on putting this part on GitHub. Yeah. But this obviously is just one portion of the Battle Tracker system. And if we go back to our initiative entry row, you can see we have this selectable item. We have in edit mode. We should probably make some kind of state field for this, like a flag that we can use bit operators, bit shift operators, to actually store, but for now I'm just going to leave them in booleans. It is pretty easy to do that too. You just need to set up a enum flag in C# and then set it up to be serialized, and then Unity will even let you select each flag individually or together in the inspector. Say is active, and we'll turn that to false by default instead of true. And let's see, do it under the edit mode here. Void set active turn. And I think we might need to do this through the selectable item, actually, because this is actually controlling our color. Well, we'll just try it for now. I believe we have... We don't actually have a reference to our background image with this game object. I'm surprised. Thought I did. Yeah. Does not look like we do. What other selection states did they have? None that would work for this. I could... Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate selectable item and make a child of it called selectable item. Or activatable item. There we go. So if we go into our GUI code, not that apparently, where was it? Selectable item lives under somewhere. Where do you live? It's just under the assets. So for some reason it's right there. I haven't moved this at all apparently. Should be under our GUI. I'm going to move it there. Now we will copy it. Call it activatable. Apparently I misnamed it activable. So I need to fix that really quick. We will rename it to, instead of activatable. There we are. Now we can open that file and properly make this. So activatable inherits from selectable. Then we'll have a property is active. We'll do this properly too. So we'll give private rule is active. False. Can I type right now? Apparently not. Alrighty. Set is active, gets value, and that. Boom. Now we've got our property set up. Oh. Selectable item already has an is active keyword, so we don't actually need this. Good to know. So, how do I handle that then? Why is... So maybe I just need to listen for the is active in some way. So let's find a little bit more about that. It's saying something about UI behavior. Oh yeah, they use the British spelling there. Behavior. Mono behavior. Yes. Excellent. Is active. Returned. Oh, that's right. Shit. So we do still need this class. We're just going to have to call it something other than is active, because is active explicitly refers to the game object itself. Yeah, that makes sense. Clicked the wrong one. So I don't even know why that eluded me. That went right over my head. I should have realized that. Yeah, so we are going to have to call this, I mean, activatable. What's another good adjective for what this is? Focused, maybe? Targeted. Targeted would work. I like that adjective. Targeted. We will call it targeted. Targetable item. Always try to spell targeted with 2 T's, and there's only 1 T in targeted. It's one of those weird words. I've looked up why, because I feel like there should be 2 T's. I mean, I guess 3 T's technically. There are 2 T's. I feel like there should be 2 T's right after each other, like targeted. But no, it's targeted. So, yeah. It makes sense. It's because it's something to do with like the way that target sounds and some other weird English mumbo jumbo that I don't really know. So we're going to go ahead and what we probably can do is give it a whole nother selectable state, or is it the transition? It's one of these. No, it's not the transition. It is the selection. No, it was. There's this struct that holds the colors that we want. Let's be color block. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So we could make a whole nother color block for this targetable item. Lurk for sandwich. Sandwich. I've had some grilled cheese 2 days in a row, actually. Grilled cheese is like 90% of my diet, probably. There's nothing wrong with grilled cheese, though. Grilled cheese is amazing, especially if you use like nice quality cheese, nice quality bread, nice quality butter, you know? Those are just 3 ingredients. I mean, cheese has a couple of ingredients in it, and I use salted butter, so that's 2 ingredients technically, I guess. And bread obviously has a lot of ingredients, especially if you get like nice fancy breads and shit like Dave's Killer. That's usually what I get, honestly, is Dave's Killer bread. I don't know why I made this a bool. This should be a color block. That color block, make this a color block. We will make this one serializable. Should make this one serializable too. And just return our color block and then set our color block. And then we need to actually handle transitioning to and from our color block, which means that we're probably going to need to store a backup of the color block from our selectable item. So let's go ahead and make a private reference for that as well. Well, actually, this is a struct, so a private value for this as well. And we'll call this untargeted colors. Set targeted. Targeted. And we're not already targeted, or rather if they don't equal each other, make them equal each other. We will set untargeted colors equal to our, what was it called? We needed to go into this again and look at our selectable. It's just called colors. It's public too. That's nice of them. So we'll make it colors, and then we set colors equal to color block. Just like that. That should be enough, I think. And then we just call set targeted when it's our turn, and then turn it off when it's not our turn. Then we just set up the colors in our color block. Oh, no, it's not exactly. I need to do this. If is targeted, that's when we set this. Otherwise, we reset the color block. I did forget one step. Colors equals untargeted colors. There we go. So if we try this, we go into our initiative controller wrapper here on the set next turn, update turn labels. We can add another helper method instead of update turn labels. It'll be update targeted, or update entry turn. Entry targets, there we go, that update entry targets. And what we'll do is we'll just iterate over our list. What's our list called? It is... don't have a list of our entry rows. Interesting. We just have a reference to our list transform. I guess I kind of know why, because we're moving around and changing and adding stuff. So I guess we just have to get our children the way that we are and sort entries here. I can make that a helper method though. That way we're not duplicating this code in two places. So let's do that really quick. We have a list of initiative entry rows. Spelling it wrong. Okay, so that should be the logic that we need here. go and make a new list and return that list. You can use shredded cheese for sandwiches. It's maybe a little non-conventional, but quesadillas are definitely good too. It's basically just like a Hispanic sandwich, right? I love quesadillas, honestly. Just good old cheese quesadilla. I don't know why I did that. I should have just listed. And then we return ret. Alright, so need to go ahead and create a little reference holder so that we're not creating it every time. This is a good little programming tip for anybody watching. Generally speaking, if you're iterating over something and you're putting or creating a reference in each of these iterations, maybe think about pulling it out of that loop so that you're only generating that reference once and then reusing that part of memory over and over rather than reallocating different parts of memory over and over. So if we go and get our list transform here, call this entry because we need transform as child. Actually, we need entry here. If entry is not null and it is active, then we will add it to our list. There. That should give us our entry rows. Yeah. I'm not going to change that logic yet because it's slightly different, but I will go and add this here. So now we need to grab our list. Get initiative. What? Get initiative entry rows. There we go. In our entry rows. And for each of these, we will set them to. We're going to have to give the initiative entry row a little helper method as well. And change this to activatable item, or targetable. That's what we changed it to, targetable item. Actually not going to do that way. I'm going to copy a new reference. That way I can more easily change my prefab that I already have set up. I don't want to lose all the colors. Call it targetable. And remove this is active. We don't need that. That was not needed. So we'll go back into here and let it recompile. Is active. Let it not recompile because I started making this method too. Instead here now we do active targetable, set targeted to active. Excellent. Now we save that and let it recompile. Looks like that is done and did compile this time. So now we go back into our initiative controller wrapper and we say set active turn to false unless it is the person's turn, which we know because of an index value, I believe. Where is it? Update turn label. It's right above us. Our update turn level we'll just do it like this. We'll iterate over it, set them all to false, except for the current entry. We'll just do that in a ternary as well. So entry row equals current entry true, otherwise false. Actually, we don't even need to do this. Is a binary, so we just oh, that's right. We need to do initiative entry. Is this private? We don't have any way of getting the initiative entry. Entry data, that's what it's called. So entry data is equal to current entry. There we go. So if our entry data is equal to our current entry, then it is our active turn, otherwise it's false. And so we iterate over all of the different rows in our entries and activate or the correct one and deactivate all the others. So if we call this method now from set next turn, now we should be actually toggling this is targeted on or off, which shouldn't actually, I guess it is actually going to change things. So we can see how that works here. Basically just going to make it look, I think it's just going to remove the highlight colors that I've set up basically. Also lacking ham. Alright, so let's give them some initiatives really quick. Sort the list. Now we go to our initiative list here in our viewpoint, go to our content, grab this, turn it off of debugging mode, back to normal mode, initiative entry row. Actually, I think I know why I had it in debug mode. I have a custom editor for this. No, I don't. Targetable's right there. So where is that? Alright, so we just don't have, yeah, duh, so we haven't added. We need to change our initiative entry template here really quick, so we'll go and do that. Open in context, and we go and add our targetable item. Can't add it. Ah, shit. So that makes sense. So what we'll do is we'll duplicate and then break the prefab here completely, just so that stores those references to those colors for later. That way we don't lose them. We don't want to lose our colors. We've already set those colors up. Alright, now I'm just going to remove our selectable item here. And add our targetable item. Put up in the order here. There we go. Now yeah, I don't know why I was thinking I needed to keep this reference. It was just this component that I needed to keep. Or rather, the one on the duplicate game object that I created. So you can see we've got our extra colors now. Instead of just these colors, we've got this color block as well, which is exactly what we want. We'll change the fade duration there as well. And we will go back to this. Now that we have our targetable item, we can go and select these colors and copy them back. Not sure of a faster way of doing this other than one by one. I know if there's a lot of them, you can copy the entire thing and kind of finagle with the XML. I think it outputs XML for the copy and pasting of the inspector, but you can finagle it a little bit, but for just those elements, I'm pretty sure that's the fastest way. So I think what we want is we want like some kind of green-ish color to signify that it's your turn, but also somewhat mute, so like that probably. Also need to give it an opacity, and it's highlighted. We'll just copy this color over, change it like that. If it's disabled, which shouldn't ever really happen, turn like a dark muted gray green. If it's selected, just make it a little brighter and greener. That probably. If we pressed it, we'll just dim it a little bit. Then if we are highlighted, just make it, actually I think we're going to use the selected color for the highlighted color. Now we'll make it a little bit brighter than that even. A little bit greener, a little bit bluer, a little bit redder. Less, a little more blue. That's what I wanted. That probably looks different enough. Cool. Now we can toggle that and revert that. Actually, yeah. Apply all of these changes now to the prefab, and then we should be ready to test if our targeted color is working or not. We'll delete this old entry here, and we will disable our template there. Save it up and test it. Test, compile, craft, and test. Alright, add this entry, add this entry, add this entry. Name. Name. No name. Give them some initiatives. Sort the list. It is no name's turn and they are not a different color. Damn. Damn. Oh. Oh, it is working. It just didn't do it when I sorted the list for... Huh. Interesting. When I sort the list, it should probably reset all of them as well. So it is working. Look at that. That actually looks pretty good. Not bad. First try. Hell yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm sure the highlight is working and everything. Yeah, that looks good. Nice. Okay. That actually looks really good. Almost looks like the blue highlight is taking over the green because I added that extra blue to it. Nice. I mean, I did that on purpose. I have a plan. Yes, I think through everything. Yes. Exactly. Alright, so when we went to the next turn, it like immediately went to the next person's turn. Which is a problem, I think. We go to our wrapper, we set our next turn. Oh, all we need to do is just call this right here too, I think. And then that will solve the problem where it tricked me and made me think it wasn't working when it actually was. So if I save that and then try that again, hopefully that means that it will highlight that first turn when we sort the list. So if we sort our list, it is now 1's turn. 2's, 3's, 4's. Perfect. That's what I want to see. Alrighty. We've got progress. We've done something already. It makes colors. And with very minimal code. I mean, you can see this is all the selectable item is. In fact, the only thing it does is does this state transition when the pointer enters it. Why are we doing that? I wonder if that's what's causing it to get stuck on sometimes. What happens if we just comment that out? Now we've got to try it out. So restart this really quick. Add some entries. That was exactly what the problem was. Look at that. It's not getting stuck on anymore. So what exactly was the point of selectable item if all it does is tell me? Huh. I mean, I guess. Was I planning on doing something else? I guess maybe it was for future use for different animations or something, I don't know. If I wanted to make it look fancier than it currently does. But that sounds like more work than I want to do, so I'm going to just leave that as it is for now. Which means that our targetable item here is good, which means that now we can add a toolbar of some kind to this app. We need a toolbar. A toolbar! So we've got our bottom bar down here. Background, we've just add a top bar of initiative list. Top bar. There we go. This down. Alrighty, so we want our top bar to not have any margins on the sides. I'm going to go ahead and remove those. We also don't want it to actually have a background image. We want this to just be a solid color for now. Go ahead and do that as well. Alright, so now we've got a bar at the top with elements that we don't want in them. So we will delete these elements. Let's create a horizontal. Yeah, we'll just create a layout here, give it a horizontal layout. You take up all of this space, and all that space. What? This top bar looks a little thicker than I'd like it to be. Maybe 60 pixels. Move the initiative list up those 20 pixels as well. Should probably put the top bar in front of the initiative list, actually. The way it renders in front of it. Alright, so we've got our horizontal layout here. Child alignment will be middle left instead of upper left. We will control the child size and height, but not force it to expand its width. Now if we add an image here, we will call this save button. Don't have an actual image for this yet, but we will just give it some icon. sure when I made this this battle icon, but I must have made it at some point. I made all these other icons as well. This calendar icons, anyways. I might have to make a save icon, though. I don't believe I've made a save icon. Oh. Well, we're just gonna test it with this calendar icon for now, which we can see it is definitely too wide. Why is it too wide? Oh, it's because the image itself is 200 pixels wide. That'll do it. What could I do to solve that? I'll just make the image. Let's open up GIMP, my graphic image manipulation program of choice. Alrighty, so I need to make a new canvas here. Make it 60. .64 by 64 seems reasonable. We can just increase the size of our toolbar a little bit if we need to, but we'll add another layer here, zoom in, delete our background, or at least hide it, add some guidelines, probably 2 pixels on each. Did I accidentally do 3 pixels? Yes. Alright. Now, floppy disk is like... Oh wow. They don't even use a floppy disk for GIMP's save. Is it Unity? No. No. There we go. I'll copy-ish. I'll base it, I should say, on Visual Studio's floppy disk. So theirs doesn't have any circle. Theirs is just a rectangle with the top right corner cut off, and then a box cut out with like a little box inside of it. I'll just Google what other save icons look like. I could probably just use the free Google icon too, but eh. Alright, so that is pretty much the same one from Visual Studio with a little box cut out in the center of it. I kind of like this style myself. I think that is the style I will try to emulate. Kind of like the wireframe style, like this one, that one. Kind of that one to an extent, but not really, and that one. So I'm going to try to design it like that. So let's pull the reference over here, pull GIMP up. Just pull the reference image. Go. Okay, so I'll do like a little box.
do like a little box. We'll like fill it in with white.
It's easier, I find, to tint white icons than it is to tint black icons. You have to do basically a different type of tinting mode to tint a black icon, whereas just the normal additive tinting will work with a white icon. So I'm actually going to round these corners first. Go here, we'll add some rounded corners. I think that is definitely too big of rounded corners, so we'll use that. 10. And looks pretty decent. So we'll go ahead and select that now and fill that in, make a new layer. That's just basically our base shape that we're going to cut and turn into our floppy disk. So I'm going to now cut this line, make sure we do this right as well, so hold this 46 and let's see, 46 is 18 down. Yeah. So nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Select all here. There we go. Delete that. Alright, so select all of this. To round those hard edges a little bit, we can do it manually with just an eraser, I guess. I don't like that though, so what I'm going to do is not undo all that. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna do a path. So if I select all of this, grab our paths, yeah, I didn't think I'd be doing image editing on my compiling stream today, but yeah. Sometimes app development is also art, apparently. Do I want it? Nope, 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 nope. I will. I think I am actually gonna undo that cut. So if we undo that cut, now we select all. Now we draw our new path. That. And if I drag our handles, do something like that, maybe?
What's happening? There it goes. I'll do some guidelines here. 3. Now if we snap our handles there. God damn it. God damn it, Bobby! Stop adding so many damn handles! There. Select our path and delete that. Now we've got at least a little less harsh of an edge there. So if we go and do our little cutout here, so we want to do some kind of cutout right about here, it looks like. So we'll go ahead and just do that. Copy this layer first. Alright, something like that, probably. What the fuck? Why did it do that? Oh, for some reason my selection was still in this damn text box, even though I had clicked out of it several times in other places. Yeah, it's free software. Can't complain. Alright, so right about there, we'll say. Then we cut that. Cool. Now we need to duplicate another one of these. Duplicate that one there, select it all, go down here, and we will go ahead and make a bigger box up to right about there-ish. Right about there seems pretty decent, so we'll delete that. And that is the basic cutout shape. So that section of our save icon. So what we want to actually do now is I'm going to duplicate this again. And we're going to, I think what I want to do, we're gonna copy this one, move it up here, select Just invert this so that we can actually need to do any of that. I can just set this to a different mode. I'll just dissolve or erase. Yeah, erase. So if we erase, then we click this. What I want to do is I want to just kind of give it a nice little border here. How am I gonna do that? I should have probably made paths and done this a little differently. I may have done this a bit dumb, but I'm not an artist. I'm just a programmer making programmer art right now. So what I can do is I can yeah, I did do this pretty stupidly, unfortunately. I should have been doing this with negative layers. Oh well. So what I can do is I can just wing it. Yeah. So I'll take this, and what will we do? We're going to grab our... I know what we're going to do. We're just going to do it like this. That's what we'll do. Grab our box here, give it the feathered edges again. Accidentally feathered it. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to do rounded corners. No wonder that looked weird. Alright, that is what we want. Fill in that. That's our negative space there. So if I select this one, I can do that down here as well. Grab this there and down. Fill. Alright. So now we've got a better way of doing this. What we can do now, we can say grab this, select all from opacity, so alpha to selection, and then we'll shrink this, say 4 pixels. Yeah, 4 pixels. I'm actually gonna duplicate it before I delete. But then I will also delete this portion of it. Cool. So now you can see we've got like that kind of thing going on a little bit. What we do now is we duplicate this one as well. Oops. That's not what I was trying to do. Duplicate. Hide that. Alpha 2 selection again. Shrink. I need a shrink. And delete. Alrighty. So now we've got something starting to vaguely resemble a save icon. So we will give this a couple extra pixels so that they looks correct here. And same down here. Or up here, rather. Yeah. Alright. So if we then duplicate this, I'm going to move all of these up now. I'm going to invert this one. Invert like that, and invert this one as well. There's a bit of aliasing going on, but hopefully that's not going to be an issue with what we're doing. So if I take this, that's already duplicated, so I hide that one. What we do is we do the same thing, basically, just our alpha to selection, shrink by 4, and delete. Now if we go and add that in, what we can see here is that that isn't going to work the way that I wanted it to, so what we'll do is we'll clean it up by deleting that and up here as well. That. Alright. If we go ahead and toggle those on, doesn't quite look right. We need to fill in that whole row of pixels here with white, and then do the same on the top. It looks, actually remove this row. Yeah. So if we zoom out, that looks like a save icon, and it approximates those save icons that I'm seeing here that I kind of like. I think that will do. I could do, this is the outline version obviously, so I should export this really quick. Documents, nope, my personal projects, where, thought it was in my documents. Personal projects. Battle Tracker 2.0. There we go. Now we're back in action. Assets, images, icons. So we've got all these different little icons. All this. Save. We won't compress it because Unity will compress it for us. Give it any special options either. Alright, let's make, just in case this doesn't work very well on a solid color like that, I'm thinking we might need like this this style, or this style, a filled style I should say as well. So we're gonna implement that one really quick as well. That one should be a lot easier though. We just go into this one, zoom in a little bit. All we really have to do is give this guy 4 pixels like that, then give the bottom one 4 pixels like that too. Maybe a little bit more than 4. When it's filled, we'll give 6. Something like that, probably. Fill in this. Pencil in a couple of corners, just because it looks a little bit nicer. Alright, so if we export this as filled, export, go back into Unity here. Now we can select our save icon, see which one we like better. Probably going to need to give this layout some padding as well. So it should be controlling the width, but we need 40 pixels of padding at least.
Alright. That's a save icon for sure. What does the other one look like? The other one might look a little better. This instance. Nah, I like the outline one more, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Give it a little opacity so that it blends in a little bit cleaner to the rest of the UI. And we will make this a button as well. So, target graphic is this. Our normal color, we'll change that back. Our normal color is going to be that slightly transparent white. Then what we can do is highlight it, makes us fully opaque. That should work for now anyways. Let's just go ahead and test it. Yeah. So that's gonna have to pop up some kind of dialogue. Actually, we should probably have a hamburger menu right here, shouldn't we? Let's just do one more quick icon really quick. Really quick. Quick. So if we just add our new layer here, hide that one. All we need is 3 rounded lines with some padding. Some adding the center as well. 32. Okay, so we will give this expand from the center. Rounded corners. Fill. Crap. Somehow it did not decide to follow the guide because, of course, it didn't. There we go. Now I fill. Then we select this one and copy it. Six pixels up and 6 pixels down then. Right there. And that's our hamburger menu icon. Real quick. Quick. Alrighty. Export that. Now, let's replace this save button the menu button. Alright, cool. I accidentally did that in play mode. So I need to redo that change menu icon. Right there. Boom. Now we should see that that looks pretty decent. That looks pretty decent. Doesn't open a menu yet, but I will leave that for next time, because it is about 2 hours into my stream now, and again, I do want to try to get a little bit more than 6 hours of sleep tonight. So, we've made some progress here. We can now see that we've properly got the turns highlighting. I've also discovered that I was an idiot and I was the one creating the bug where it was getting stuck highlighted. This is selected, by the way. When I click it and it stays blue like that, that's intentional. That's so that I can delete them with the backspace. What is that not working? And duplicate them, which apparently also isn't working. What have I done? I must have broken things. Let's double check that I'm not crazy here. Yeah, does it need a name? No, it's just doesn't want to listen to my commands. So I'm gonna have to be doing some debugging. Why would it broken? Well, must be this, I'm thinking, that's not... Yeah, I will be ending soon. Squid, about to be ending. Yeah. Just so that I can try to get some sleep and go eat some dinner. Gonna make myself some sandwiches too, probably. Some more grilled cheeses tonight. Gotta eat up my bread before it goes bad. So I'm gonna add a note here. Commands are no longer working. I'm pretty sure that for some reason is selected is not getting selected anymore. Why that would be, I have no idea, but that's my assumption, is that's what's going on, is that that is false. But I don't know why, I don't know what changed there. Oh, duh. This is an easy fix. This was me being an idiot, because I should have just properly removed this and renamed it to targetable item, but I didn't, so now I have to go and rename all of these to targetable. Alright. So now our commands should be working again. That's good. At least I hopefully fixed this bug before I end the stream today. That would have sucked to end the stream right with a, not even just a bug, but a regression. Nobody likes regressions. So I should be able to delete these now. Yes, exactly. So I can delete these, and that's why there's the selectable state here, so that you can like duplicate them with keyboard commands and delete them with keyboard commands. So very useful stuff, and you can obviously select the one that is currently targeted. Oh, I guess, yeah, now this button is selected is why. The selectable state will override any other selectable state of any of the UI that it's being handled by the event system. So that's what's going on here. But if we select that, you can see it changes a different color to show you that it's selected. And then you can still delete even if it's that person's turn. And if we go to the next person, actually, what I should do for the future is if I delete somebody who it's their turn, it should just automatically make it this person's turn, basically, because it is this person's turn now, and the game knows it, or the system knows it, which is why when I hit next turn, it takes us back up here. But we'll leave it for now. Alrighty, so yeah, I think this is a good place to call it a stream. I appreciate everybody who stopped in. Thank you so much, Raged Gordon and Squid Coder, for joining us today and chatting and hanging out a bit. I hope to see you all again on the next one, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and or night. If anybody's watching this and was interested in this kind of content, I do have a YouTube channel as well. These VODs are going to be uploaded to YouTube automatically. Yeah, if you think I'm cool, if you think this stuff is cool, feel free to give me a follow, and I hope to see you all again. Thank you so much. Catch you all later. Find somebody to raid now as well, if I can. It might not allow me to raid anybody. It wasn't allowing me to raid anybody yesterday. But that's alright. We'll try anyways. Let's see. I can raid a person I follow, Whipray, who plays Factorio. So that would be cool. Is that something you guys are interested in? Let's see, I can potentially raid somebody who's doing game development as well. Let's see. Looks like Whipray just got off. So, I guess it's a good thing I did not raid him. Let's try this one, maybe? I'll try. I'm unable. It just doesn't like me. I can't raid anybody. That's alright, though. I'll try one more. Bash scripting Linux chatting. If it doesn't let me raid this person with one viewer, then I think I just can't raid anybody. Yeah, I'm unable to raid anybody. Oh well. Yeah. thanks for everybody who joined me today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you on the next one.